Hello, friends! Hi! It's me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and I thought I would go live for a bit. What I've done is, this morning, I've been doing videos on herbalism. I did one on oak, and then I did one on straw. I have some upcoming ones, like on my bed I've got sunflower, I've got espresso beans, I've got kiwi berries, I've got gourds, I've got chicory root, I've got juniper berries, so I have no lack of videos coming, but I wanted to maybe have a chit chat with my friends, go live for a while. I've invited some of the folks from one of the greatest places on the internet, the Pagans and Witches Amino app. They do not sponsor me. I'm just telling you that it's one of the greatest places I know. So I've invited some people from there, and hopefully that's okay, to come and I can do a live Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, here I am. I've got all my books. So if you have any questions, make sure to put those out there. I'm going to turn the music up a hair. We're listening to a little bit of Fleetwood Mac. Hi, Maddie. How are you? Just so you guys know, if you're not connected with me on Skype, now would be a great time to give me your information or find me on Skype and connect with me, because I am messaging everyone on my Skype list to say, hey, I'm going live in 10 minutes, and I'm sure that's how you found me, Maddie. So, yeah, let's have a chat. I'm sitting here with some Scrabble tiles and maybe putting together a little bit while we sit and chat. And you know what? If nobody has questions, then what would you like to talk about? I would like to talk about, firstly, oh, I'm glad you're working on your herb cabinet. I've just been up to this, you know? Work has been terrible for me, so I've been focusing on my witchcraft, my real work, my real passion. So, I want to talk about somebody. I want to talk about a new friend of mine. Am I going to not be able to show that? He goes by The Wild Witch on YouTube, and on Pagans and Witches, he goes by Mario V. He has a full last thing. I just want to say Mario V for now. And that's what he goes by in Pagans and Witches, and I just found him recently, and I adore him. We have so much in common. He is a young witch from Portugal. He's Portuguese, and he has the most beautiful witchy hair. I think a lot of people say my hair is cool and witchy. No, this young witch has got it going on. He's a vegan, but he uses taxidermy in his craft. There's just a lot of similarities, so I'm going to be getting together with him as soon as he has his school break. He's going to be in school for quite some time. When he has his Yule break for school, we're going to be doing some collab videos where we actually go live together and answer questions for you guys, or just have a chit-chat between the two of us. We stayed on Skype today for 2 hours, I think, and chit-chatted, and I told him, I'm like, what we're talking about would be so much fun to make a video on, and just thrive off of each other, and how we're similar and how we're different and things like that. Yay, Maddie! You will be really happy. I think he has 5 videos out right now, but you'll feel his vibe right away. It's just so magnetic and so lovely. Hey! How are you, Silver Moon? I'm so happy that you joined us. We've been talking about The Wild Witch, one of my favorite new young YouTubers. So make sure to check out his channel. He's also on Pagans and Witches. So, what else is going on? Does anyone have any questions or anything you want me to look up out of my Bible here? Or, you know, I'm going to be doing a video for The Wild Witch on crows as a spirit animal and snails as a spirit animal, because where he's at, he has loads of crow feathers, and we have crows here in Seattle. We just don't have crow feathers that I can find a lot. So, any questions from anybody? Any questions? What are you guys up to on this lovely Sunday? It's really beautiful. Let me show you out the window. Yeah, I bet you do have crows in Oklahoma. Do you find crow feathers a lot? See, it's a gorgeous day. It's a gorgeous day. Thankful, thankful. Thankful for my friends. Thankful to my spirit guides for everything that's been given me. Thankful for this song. Come on. Fleetwood Mac. Woo, good stuff. Crystal elixir with clear quartz and rose quartz. There's a separation of glass between. The quartz comes out of the bottom. You can replace it with any stone. This is the brand. Gemstone Well. Questions, you guys? Questions on herbs, witchcraft, spirit animals, spirit guides? I thought I would go live to see if anybody wanted to do a Q&A. But really, any questions on any of the books I have, now would be a good time. Hey! Wild Witch, you're here. We've been talking about you. Spiritual side of goats. Yeah, totally. Let's look that up. So Maddie asked if I have any information on the spiritual side of goats. And also if I had information on the goddess Kalai. So we'll find out that right now. Goats. Where's my goat? Haha, I just had this out for a little video. Goats. Who likes Fleetwood Mac? Does anyone dislike Fleetwood Mac? Why are goats not in here? What? Okay, Maddie, the goat's not in here, but I've done 2 videos on goats. I'm glad that you like Fleetwood Mac, Silver Moon. Goats. There is some information in here I could quickly talk about, though. I did a goat video, I think, out at Peggy's house when Maggie was still alive. Goat! It's right here. Okay. The goat is a symbol of power, independence, and fertility. The female goat is a symbol of nurturing, while the male goat is a symbol of virility and sexuality. I'm trying to light this without looking. I can't do it unless I'm looking into the camera. How do you light a candle without looking? I've been trying to do it, you guys. It's just not as easy as it sounds. Okay, back to goats for Maddie. The Inquisition often accused witches of copulating with goats or the Christian devil in the form of a goat. The goat foot god Pan is half human and half goat, symbolizing 2 natures of the higher and lower self, the primal nature and the intellect. What pantheon of is Kalai from, Maddie? What is it? Egyptian or is it Norse or what? Let's see where we're at. Ancient deities with goat horns are found throughout Europe and ancient Argonan, Mediterranean to Gaul and Britain. The ancient art of old Europe dating from as early as 5000 BC, the goat is associated with the moon as one of the stimulators of life force that promotes the lunar cycle and plant growth. In this, we see the stirrings of the theme of the goat-horned god as a consort to the moon goddess. So yeah, then it kind of goes on a little bit about Mercury, Zeus. Zeus is, goats were sacred to Zeus, who was suckled by the goat Amelitha. The skin of Amelitha became the Aegis, the protector of and preserver, and her horn was the cornucopia, the symbol of abundance and plenty, which we're all getting ready to do Thanksgiving, right? And the cornucopia in a lot of people's tables, especially the fancy people with all the money, they're going to have a cornucopia. Know what that symbolizes and know where it came from. Super interesting dinner table topic, possibly. And by the way, I've taken everybody's advice on coming out to my family at Thanksgiving, and what I've decided to do, because it's the only time of year we all get together, is I've decided to take everyone personally throughout the day. Even though that's going to be a lot of work for me, it is going to be the best way. But I will know by the time dinner comes that I've at least attempted to feel it out and talk to each person individually, and I can feel myself, for once, fully at a holiday. So that's what I've decided, and every year I do a table blessing for the whole table. It's never a Christian blessing particularly. So, I feel like everybody is going to be really happy that I finally opened up, because I know they've been feeling I've been closed off for a while, but I've been happy. Yeah. So, goats are also in this book. This book here that we were reading out of was by Raven Grimassi, that popular witch who's written loads of books. Someday I would love to write a book. Kali. Kali. Right here, girl. So, Maddie, we're going to read about Kali or Kali. Literally the black one in Hindu myth. Kali is the destructive aspect of Parvati, who I have tattooed on my arm right here. And that's her beautiful aspect. And when she's married to Shiva. But in the other aspect, when she is married to, as Kali, and married to, Vishnu. That's the destructive angle. I believe. She is simply one aspect of the ultimate goddess, Devi. She is usually Parvati, consort to Shiva. She is usually depicted draped with several human heads and trampling on the body of her slain husband. Well, that's an interesting symbol. Bless you, girl, for putting up with them. Wow, that's really symbolic. But again, Vishnu, the other side of Shiva, he is, peaceful in the Shiva aspect, and in the Vishnu aspect, the head of a lion, and I believe tearing heads off of many other things. So, and all of those religions you can bring into witchcraft. Again, you can bring Jesus in, you can bring Hecate in, you can use them both, you can work with Bastet. I use the word use, I'm so sorry, you can work with them both. We don't use our gods. If anything, they use us, believe me. But we honor them and put them in the highest honor. I'm sorry I said that word. Back to Kali. She is often called Kali Ma, the Black Mother, and in addition to being a necessary destroyer, she is also a powerful creative force. Many of her rituals are organistic in nature. According to Patricia Monahan, Kali first manifested herself when the demon Daruka threatened the gods. The great goddess Parvati, frowned at Daruka, knitting her brows in fury. From her sprang Kali, armed with a trident. She chased off the demon and made the heavens safe again. Myths tell of Kali dancing with Shiva. Her dancing became wilder and wilder. She pauses, but should she continue, she could take the world to pieces with her wildness. Despite the seeming negativity of this goddess, she is one of the most popular in India and is adopted by some witchcraft covens. So that is a bit on that goddess you were asking about, Maddie. Does anybody else have any questions? Right now I'm reading out of Raymond Buckland's The Witch Book. And before that, we were in the Encyclopedia of Wicca and Witchcraft by Raven Grimrossi when we were talking about goats. In this book, it talks about goats too, but does anybody else have questions? Do you know anything about the Draconic Path? I do not, Silver Moon, but let me tell you what I've been really thinking about and talking to some people about bringing into this channel is cryptozoology and working with that. So working with things like, and I know it sounds crazy, but if people are working with dragons and fairies, and I do work with fairies, then why couldn't you work with other mythical creatures, right? So cryptozoology, things from all over the world, not just Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, but things like that. River monsters, snow monsters, oceans, rivers, monkeys, crazy bats, things like that. But things that have been like legend or lore all over the world. And this is my favorite book on that topic. It is a huge book. The author is Michael Newton. Really great book here. So I was thinking about trying to integrate some of these into my magic, or doing videos on that. But if anybody here knows good books for the Draconic Path, please tell Silver Moon. Yeah, so if you guys think that sounds like a fun topic, I'm excited about it. Let's see if I can find some goats in here. Any other questions, y'all? Oh, and there is a great Draconic Path channel, Dragon Feather. What's her first name? Azura Dragon Feather? I really like her content. I love a video she did, talking about, like witchcraft things that everybody does, like, blowing out your birthday candles. Did you know that that was witchcraft? And so I really like that because it is relatable to people, like normal people. Or when you're doing something like trying to tell your family, like, witchcraft isn't what it seems in Hollywood. It's painted that way for a reason, because we have so much power within us, all of us. I think that it's painted that way so that we don't harness our power fully. You're welcome, Maddie, anytime. The information on the goddess Kali I was reading from this book. Let me check my other book, though, to see if there's any on her there. And that was this one. Nope, nothing on in this book. I remind you of a teacher. That's hilarious. You want to know a funny story about that? I used to do pinup modeling, which is like, it was a fun hobby of mine in my early 20s. And my pinup name was Miss Rose Bentley, because I love the car, the Bentley, and I love the flower, the rose. And it's kind of like, a pinup name is kind of like a magical name. And when you're a pinup model, you go to like car shows and you put your hair all up. I'll have to show you guys some old pictures sometime. Do the makeup, wear the full dress, everything. And everybody in a competition has to have a theme. And my theme was always the teacher, right? When I purchased this desk at a yard sale, I Shish you not. Am I going to be able to show you? On the front of the desk it says Miss Rose. Written by like a kid's hand. It's so crazy. I'll get my camera out. I'm now stuck behind my desk. I'm sure that was hilarious. But anyway, I think things fall into our hands for reasons, you know, like, and then you know it's like meant to be yours. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's funny, funny, funny. Anyway, I want to paint on the front of that, the taxidermy witch, but I've always felt like I shouldn't get rid of that. Like, it's a marking that, I don't know, was there for a reason or something? I don't know. It's special, though, because it brought back memories of fun and felt like mine at that point. Okay, so that's a compliment saying that I feel like a teacher. As long as I feel like a fun teacher, you know? And I love old cars. I just love them. Hi! Cece, how are you? How are you? Okay, Cece or anybody else, if you guys have questions, let me know now. I'm looking up things, doing Q&A. Anybody has questions, throw them out there. Because right now, I'm just on the tail end of other questions, aren't I? But, you know, I could look up in here and see if there is Draconic Magic Silvermoon. Oh, is everybody here on the Pagans and Witches Amino app? I want to know how many of you are there, because if you are there, I would also like to connect with you there. And if you're not there yet and you need a community of friends, it's one of the best places to be. Silvermoon, are we connected there? We are, right? Cece, any questions? Draconic. Now, these books aren't, like, perfect for looking up everything, but they're great coffee table books for you to learn more. Does anybody know what a doppelganger is? We could talk about that. Okay, cool. Cece, is your name the same on there? If you guys don't know what doppelgangers are, I watched a really interesting movie the other day, which I thought was going to be about doppelgangers or changelings, but it was about it wasn't. It was it was a true crime case. I watched The Changeling because it recently became available on Netflix, and it has Angelina Jolie, and who doesn't like looking at her beautiful face, and her acting is good. It did have a shower scene of her, and I saw how skinny she was, and I felt sick for about 4 hours. Yeah, her vertebrae are but anyway, The Changeling ended up being about the true story, which appears in American Horror Story, of the chicken coop murders. Holy shit. That story is horrible. Don't watch it if you have any kind of, like, those things get to you at all. So, apologize for the swear, but you know. So doppelgangers are like, I believe that the theory of it it came up in Ireland originally, I believe, but I'll just read from this a bit because I don't have any questions right now. There's a belief that everyone has an exact double somewhere in the world, and if anyone should ever come face to face with that double, it is a sign that he or she will die. John Aubrey, 1626 through 1697, the antiquary, in his Miscellaneous, 1696, Fleetwood's Mac is singing about believing in magic right now, so there's that. Very, very magical band. If you watch them perform live, Rhiannon is like, it makes me cry. Like, her passion is amazing. Okay, perfect. I'll find you on there, Cece. Thank you. Alright, so tells of Lady Diana Rich meeting her double while walking in the grounds of Holland House, London. A month later, she was dead. Eric Maple, a man, myth and magic, says that when the Empress Catherine, the the Great saw her double advancing upon her, she ordered her guards to open fire on it. Such a duplicate of oneself is known as a doppelganger, or a walking double. The English painter Dante Gabriel Rossetti, 1828 to 1882, depicted a meeting between a man and a woman and their doppelgangers. I want to see that painting. That sounds so wicked. Meeting between a man and a woman and their doppelgangers, showing one of the women fainting in his painting called How They Meet Themselves. My daughter was just telling me, like, Mom, I hate looking in the mirror. And I was trying to tell her, do you know why that is? There's a reason for that. And it was probably too heavy for her at the moment. And I was like, you know, some people, you know, they're portals. And she's like, what? And I'm like, okay, enough. So I just told her, I'll tell you later. Or let me know when you want to know. Like, telling a kid things like that, you know, that's sensitive, I suppose. She's 12. She needs to, you know. But I'm really hoping that when I tell her, you know, all this stuff you do, that you see me do, I'm a witch. And I hope that when I tell her that, she's not scared of me. That's my biggest hope. But all we have to do is explain all the stereotypes away. All we have to do is tell the truth. And go, you see me do it. You know, my door is only closed when I'm actually filming a video. Oh, also, you guys, I want to talk about thrift books. I'm not understanding what you're saying, that boy off indie. I'm sorry. If you could re-say it, I could try and answer it. I don't think she'll be scared either, because I'm showing it all to her. It's not like I'm hiding it. Okay, so a little bit more about the doppelganger. In the Salem witch trials, one of the major debating points was the admissions of special evidence. This was a belief that a witch could be observed by witnesses as being innocently occupied on the location, but a duplicate of the witch could be in another place working mischief. Spectral evidence was, after all, some small debate, admitted, and a number of people were put to death on that basis. Such evidence was not restricted to New England. Kitteridge says spectral evidence was admitted, for example, in England, either in examinations or ritual trials, and they go on to say all these years. Even Justice Holt, whose honorable record in prosecuting the antiquity of every witch he tried is well known, did not exclude spectral evidence. Well, that kind of got fuzzy there at the end, but basically there are lots of myths and legends and stories about these things called doppelgangers. And if you believe that on some plane, and sometimes the planes get muddled, that you have an exact replica of yourself, but it's kind of soulless. It kind of walks around with dead eyes, kind of like you. And apparently doppelgangers are always really, really hungry. Like, they eat a lot. If you guys ever saw the show The Returned, Les Revenants, they do one in English and one with subtitles. Les Revenants is amazing. It's called The Return, but that's kind of about doppelgangers, and all the characters in that eat they go to the fridge and they eat. Okay. Alright guys, thanks for joining me here. Have a beautiful evening, and we'll do a Q&A real soon. Talk to you soon.